Hello!
Hi!
Welcome to our new channel. We are the Modern Mystics. My name is Kelsie.
And I'm Shailynn.
And we are here to give you aligned and informed information about the spiritual world, have connections, meaningful conversations with everyone, and really just vibe over the cool things that the spiritual world and that our world has to offer.
Yes, and we're going to keep it very grounded, very like modern magic meets science and spirit. We love the woo, but we're also going to be citing our sources, following best practices, all that good stuff, because we really believe there is a true blend of that. Mm-hmm. There's not going to be any dogma or weirdness or like, too like high intense words or like making it fluffy. We're going to keep it real. We're going to be accountable and communicate in a very down to earth way.
Yes, and I think you'll learn from our background, because we want to introduce ourselves a little bit, that we are not going to be here to be selling you some crazy amounts of like, take this 10-step course and you too can be spiritual. No, we are here to give you free content to help you align with whatever your highest version of yourself is. And we're also here to talk to those of you that maybe have been curious about spirituality, but have felt like it was too much of a leap to believe in something even as small as the idea of past lives. We understand everybody comes from different backgrounds, has maybe even some religious trauma and things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, both of us.
Both been there.
But we're basically just two friends that wanted to come together and share all of the knowledge and spiritual understandings that we've found at this point. But we also want to learn from you too. So let's get to know each other a little bit and start. Yes. Would you like to start? Tell us a little bit about yourself, Shailynn.
So as I said, my name's Shailynn. I was born and raised in the mountains of Eastern Washington, and always had just like a deep connection with nature and the spirits, and that's very much carried into my adult life. And one example, when I was about 4, my parents, we lived off the land a lot, so we had like a well and solar panels, grew our own food, things like that. And I remember being about 4, laying in bed with my parents and looking up, and our house is under construction, but seeing this little like boy spirit kind of lean over and look at me and wave. And the next day...
You said you were 4?
Yeah. And the next day my
parents
being like, he was like cute. It didn't feel bad.
But at 4, when you have no comprehension...
I was like, hello.
Oh my gosh.
And my parents were like, well, it was probably a bunny rabbit or like a squirrel or something, because
that waved,
Yeah, definitely. So that was definitely one of my first like, what the hell was that?
Yeah.
But I also, on the other side, my parents unfortunately grew up in this very extremist evangelical church, to the point where like I was always collecting rocks and stuff on the mountain that I grew up in. There's a lot of like mica and quartz and stuff, and you just find it in the dirt. Mm-hmm. And my grandma gave me this quartz necklace, and I loved rocks, so I just thought it was cool. And I remember being in the parking lot at church and my mom being like, you can't wear that. Witches wear rock necklaces and quartz and stuff. And
you just found a pretty rock.
I know, right? I'm like, I just want to wear my quartz necklace from Grandma. But the church, like, also just wasn't a very healing place, and I never felt that was somewhere I needed to be called to be, or I felt like I could be myself. Mm-hmm. I definitely had a lot of cool people, and, there were some people who were very nice, but it wasn't a very, like, safe or accountable place. And then what really did it for me, what really put the nail in the coffin for like American Christianity and that whole evangelical part of it specifically, my grandparents went to this mega church. And
you've been to a mega church?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Like,
I've only seen those on like TikTok.
Yeah, thousands of people.
Wow.
Very like corporate feel.
Yeah. Did they have big shows?
Yes.
Yeah.
Not like some where Jesus is like levitating.
Yeah. like singing a rock star song.
But definitely, you know, and I'm a teacher and always kind of have been, I could see that they bought like corporate curriculum to like promote at the church and stuff.
Wow.
And it was, I think it was 2012, 2013, and gay marriage had just been legalized in Washington. I was happy, but I remember, you know, the pastor saying some ignorant stuff and everyone getting up and clapping. And I was the only one in the room just sitting there.
Yeah.
And that for me, I was like, this is not the kind of space I want to be in. This is not a place that is full of love to me. You know, the things that connect all religions and the good parts of them, it's down to love and community. So just didn't really feel right. I started working in the church coffee shop.
Did you?
So that I didn't have to go to church service. Oh, yeah.
That's thinking, man. That's an innovative way to get out of it.
They need someone to volunteer. Yeah. I can learn to be a barista.
Learn to make coffee. Nothing wrong with that.
So I definitely had my excuse, but also around this time was like the height of Tumblr era.
Oh.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Right? It's still not totally over, but it was the
it's
peak.
kind of coming back.
I know.
Somewhat.
So is Vine. Did you hear about Vine?
Yeah.
Let's see Vine come back.
Millennials are back.
Yes.
But yeah, like through Tumblr, I saw, you know, it kind of started as rocks and crystals for me. Like, oh, rose quartz is good for this.
Oh.
I started burning incense a lot more. A friend of mine and I, we would go to cemeteries and like light incense and meditate.
How old were you?
Like 17, 18. Yeah.
I'm impressed. I didn't have any of this come to me until I literally was about to turn 30.
Really?
So that is amazing.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I definitely had to keep it on the down low because of my family.
You weren't in a family.
And once I moved out, you know, and I was very focused on school, like my college education and stuff. But even through that, I feel like that was part of my spiritual path too, because I learned, you know, my specialty is like language education, community building, working with like refugees and immigrants. And so through that training, I unlearned and relearned a lot. My religious upbringing definitely influenced my community and like the way I learned history, the way I learned how to interact with people from other cultures in, you know, our part of Washington. It's getting so much better and I'm so proud of our area. But, you know, 25 years ago, it was not like that. And it's a very white part of the country, very Christian part of the country. And so I had to unlearn a lot of that to be able to do some of the work I do now. But during this time, you know, it is a part of my spiritual path and that part of my life because I learned about cultures and love and food and community, and I definitely healed certain parts of myself through that I didn't get from church or that I was told I would, and it wasn't in a healthy way. This way it was like people just from all over the world coming together in a classroom. So that was beautiful. During, you know, the lovely time of 2020, I also, like a lot of people, use TikTok a lot, and through there and just trying out like yoga and stuff, I got really into being an Aphrodite devotee. So I had an altar for her, and I tried to learn a lot about the moon, live by the phases of the moon. I don't really do a ton of that now, a little bit here and there. Now I'm more into like Reiki and crystal healing. So it's definitely ebbed and flowed and changed, but I find myself kind of coming back more and more to using rocks and crystals, a lot of earth-based magic, which I think with my roots, you know, growing up on the mountain, it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, you were called to that since you were little.
Yeah, definitely. And, you know, you and I have done Reiki classes together. And
we took our first one
together. Oh my gosh. I actually was looking at the picture the other day.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, look at us little babies. It was only 2.5 years ago.
Yeah, it wasn't that long ago, but very long time ago when it comes to like changes, spiritual changes, growth, all those things.
For sure. Yeah. And then I had the chance to also retake the class we took and take the next level with another teacher too.
Great.
And she was awesome. She is a senior Reiki master now with the like international Reiki people.
Oh,
so
wow,
she's legit. Yeah. It was awesome. But even through through that, I think Reiki classes do a good job of, or should do a good job of teaching, the history and the culture surrounding Reiki.
Oh, yeah.
It's not a closed practice, but I think it's still really important to honor where it came from.
Yeah.
And be able to explain, like, how it's come to, like, mainstream America.
Before I ever took a class, I read about that.
Really?
Yeah, because I wanted to know why it was a thing, where it came from, and the culture part is so important to me too, so I agree.
Yeah, and we're going to do a lot of that too, like, especially citing our sources, or like I've been getting very into like ancestral practices, and with that comes learning about the history and stuff, so there will be some of that sprinkled throughout this too. And then the last few years you and I have done some fun events here and there with other spiritual practitioners. It was actually like a year and some change ago that we had the fall equinox retreat at Harmony Woods.
Oh wow.
So yeah, that was really fun. We always call upon the 4 directions and just welcome in them and their energies. We made we had the participants go out in nature and just connect with the land for a second, bring back stuff and make a mandala.
That was pretty.
Yeah, that was really fun.
I love art like that.
Yeah. And just, we try to give people a little bit of everything. So Kelsie did a really cool, like, how to read 12 houses in an astrological chart with King Henry VIII's chart. I so enjoyed that. That was really good. The history nerd in me was like, what?
Oh, good.
Yeah. And, we did tarot, we did a spell workshop, we did Reiki, yoga, sound bath, just a little bit of everything. And I think my favorite parts of doing events like that is people being like, whoa, that was my first sound bath. That was my first tarot reading.
And giving them a taste.
They're like, whoa. And you just kind of see them open their mind a little bit more, and they always have these big takeaways from it. So that's really nice.
There's usually one thing that affects them the most, and it's just so interesting to see where everybody's at.
Yeah.
In a different way, different part of their life, different phase of their life.
Yeah. And you kind of blend that with your counseling stuff too. So a lot of people, like, when they would go to you first for tarot, and then they'd come to me and they'd be like, wow, that was like tarot in a therapy session. And I'm like, lay down.
Because you got it from a counselor.
Yeah, she's great. I know. Lay down. Let's clear up this energy.
Yeah, lay down.
Keep us going.
Let's get whatever came up out.
Yeah. So it's really nice. And like, some people, the Reiki session was just very relaxing. Some people cried. I'm sure you get that with tarot a lot, just different reactions.
Yeah.
But I love it. It's so fun. And we've done, I think, 3 or 4 events together like that with other practitioners. As far as like my own personal practice lately, I do a lot of like spell baths, and those are really nice.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so I add salts to just clear away any energy, because when you work with like people in the community and just today's world, you gotta keep everything like cleansed, keep your energy protected.
Yeah.
The
basics of energy.
Yeah.
Energy cleansing and health. Energy health, I guess, would be the best word for that.
Yeah.
So the main thing you're offering in the community is Reiki right now?
Yes. Definitely, for sure.
With a little, I don't know, added, crystals and things like that.
Flair.
She's not really selling herself the way she should, because I've gotten so much Reiki from her. She will like find out your trauma from like 10 years ago. Sometimes she gets some visions. And she saw a trauma from literally more than 10 years ago for me. She didn't even know what she was saying. She described something, and she had to make guesses based off of who she knows of who I am now. But no, it was something I immediately was like, oh, that was an awful thing that happened to me. You've never met this person. You don't know who you're talking about. But I showed her a picture later, and she's like, oh yeah, that was her.
Or the thing with your grandma too. day where I was like, this is what her kitchen
Yeah,
looked like.
I forgot. She saw my grandma's house from when I was like
her
10.
table's yellow.
Yeah.
And that's, I mean...
You saw her table?
Yeah.
It was yellow.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. What did you see in the kitchen? Like, did you see the window or anything?
I remember you walked in and it was like to the right with some rooms, guest rooms and her room and stuff.
Oh my
gosh. It was
gosh.
like you walk in, then the kitchen's right there, and to the left is a yellow table and then the living room.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah. And that's like when you do Reiki training, they tell you,
that could happen.
You'll see colors.
She sees full on visions.
Visions of things
about you.
And I was just like, oh, whatever. And then, just kind of starts coming to you. And sometimes it's spot on for people, and other times I've had people be like, I have no idea what you're talking about.
I bet you're seeing the future sometimes. But
Maybe.
Anyway.
I don't know.
You never know.
But yeah.
We're learning too. We're getting, Shailynn didn't ask for this. It just started happening to her.
Yes.
Some people you have to open and work on your third eye for a long time just to get a little bit, and some people it's been open since you were 4, right?
Well, yeah, you still have to do a lot of the work too,
Yes.
No. Yeah.
But I mean, you had that ability since
Definitely.
you were 4. Yeah.
For sure, yes.
It's just ebbed and flowed based off of where you were in your life and if you were open to it as well, of course.
I feel like it's going to keep coming. But the learning is on our end too. It's a reciprocal thing, that's what we want. And I think it's fun too. I'm always learning random new things to try or I recently turned 30 on my birthday. I had my first pendulum reading.
Yoo-hoo.
And tarot you can kind of ask whatever, but pendulum
specific.
You have to be specific. Mm-hmm. And so that at first it took me a while to kind of get in that mindset of yes or no only.
Yep.
Yeah. So we're still learning too, but I love it and it's so fun.
Yes.
Do you want to talk about, Kelsie, some of your stuff that you do and your journey to kind of where you are, and just some stuff you do in your daily spiritual practices too?
Yes, but I feel like you still haven't fully said some of the really cool things about who you are. If you don't mind, I want to share just I love this woman. She is incredible. She taught herself Spanish. She was talking about how she is so into the cultures and stuff. It's way beyond that. Yes. She is immersive in her understanding of other people and just so much empathy, so much support. I mean, she has supported some of the most downtrodden people in our community, the people that need the children that need the help the most.
I mean, you too.
But I'm not talking about me. I'm talking about
that.
Yes. She's been a teacher in all different ways, and she is a permanent fighter for justice for those that need help, for those that can't help themselves. That is Shailynn.
Yes,
I just had to add a little bit.
Thank you.
Yes.
You're welcome. It has I kind of, when I started college, I did really intense EMDR therapy twice a week. You gotta you gotta work on too.
Yeah.
So that, and I really have loved learning Spanish and just meeting people who speak that language. I had a immersive experience in Bosnia, Tunisia.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she's a traveler
to Thailand
too.
This year. Yeah. So it really is just something I love and kind of nerd out about. I'm a Libra double Leo, so the scales of justice are very prominent in
I wore
me.
that for you today, actually. Yes.
Oh my gosh, that's so cute. Yes.
I was like, you know what, because I'm a Libra rising, but that's the only place that Libra is in my chart. And I was like, well, I want to come out as balanced, right, for this. But I also am with my Libra partner, so I wanted to wear that for her
Kelsie.
today.
Thank you.
No problem.
Yes, but then it's the Leo moon and the Leo rising.
Oh, yeah.
Don't mess with my people.
No.
And that includes just my students, our community,
especially
my loved ones, and anybody and it's just who I am. It's, not a lot of people in my family are like that, but my self-made family, the community I've made for myself, they see that in me, and I get to be who I am. And I think I'll always be that way. I kind of see myself being that grandma who's like marching with the grandkids, like for whatever the
Hopefully
cause
we're not
is.
protesting in
The same stuff.
Yeah, the same stuff by then. But
yeah, like a celebration march of progress would be nice for once.
That sounds wonderful.
Yeah. But I just know that that's going to be a part of my spiritual journey and my life. And I really feel like a lot of spiritual people sometimes miss that you do have to be there for your community too.
Oh, yeah.
So,
so much of any spiritual belief has to do with the idea of being in a community with your fellow humans on earth. So I completely agree. You can't miss that piece.
Definitely. And I kind of, this might just be my belief, but I feel like that's why a lot of ignorant and closed-minded people are just kind of miserable inside because they're
the lack of love and community in their life
for themselves and others. Yeah, you hit it there.
Yeah.
Yes.
There's a lot of examples of that right now, especially in our political realm. But we'll just leave it at
We'll
that.
talk about that more.
We'll leave it at that for now.
Trust me, we got a story for you there.
Many.
Yes.
But we'll get there.
Yes, but that's, we connect on that because I'm the teacher, you're the counselor, but talk more about that because that really ties into everything you do. Everyone who's had a reading from you, whether it's past life, tarot, quick little Reiki thing, whatever, they're like, wow, that was so healing.
It makes me happy to hear.
Yeah.
Well, yes. Hello. My name is Kelsie. I am a certified mental health therapist, but also school counselor. I did that for 10 years, and I just recently decided to quit that part of my life with a lot of gratitude and love.
Yes.
It was a very healing, positive, big learning part of my life to be a counselor, and I learned so much about not only, of course, the human brain and why we act the way we act, but a lot about why we develop as humans the way we do. I really have an intense interest in attachment therapy and in developmental just human development, I guess is the best way to put that.
And
but also
you are always tying that when we talk about
because
stuff.
spirituality and psychology should be parallel subjects. I'm telling you, I wish it wasn't considered woo to look into any kind of really spiritual belief that isn't inside of the dogma of some kind of a religious faith that is a based, paid for, nonprofit that exists. Because anytime you take any of those beliefs, that a lot of them exist with different names and different ideologies inside of these established religions, they're okay there. But when you take those beliefs and take them outside of anything, and you're just trying to understand spirituality as a whole, suddenly it's woo. Suddenly it's weird, confusing.
Yeah. She's a witch.
She's a witch. Yeah. Watch
she's one of those crystal girls.
Yeah, exactly. There can be a lot of negative connotations to people just simply wanting to explore what happens when you die, what happens to us in this life when it feels both completely centered on everything going on with us in that time and completely centered on everyone else in our lives. And it's at the same time that it feels both like this weird self-centered journey and at the same time completely not. I don't know. And people get stuck on one or the other. I don't want to go into a tangent because I know I'm talking about me.
I totally agree.
But they get stuck right in the idea of this is all about me or this is all about everyone but me. Mm-hmm. And that balance is so hard for people to find. But anyway.
Black and white.
Yeah. I'll get into that later because I could talk for hours about those kinds of things. But yes. So I was a mental health professional, and I still consider myself one and still am licensed, but I'm going to let that lapse because I'm moving on into my work with past life regression hypnosis, which to me was a very easy transition into hypnosis because it's very counselor-centered oriented. When I was learning and getting my certification for that, it was very much started off with the same exact principles of how you take care of someone emotionally when you're in a counseling session. Once I started taking those classes, and I was like, oh, this is very similar.
Yes.
But it's actually more intense than maybe a typical counseling session, unless you're doing a guaranteed EMDR session or something like that. Going and seeing if I am able to, and I say if I'm able because not everybody will see the full same past life that they think they will, or all of it or what they're expecting. I think a lot of people see what they don't expect.
Yeah.
It just depends on how much you are able to get into that theta brain state. Everybody's different. She went there immediately. That was nuts. Well, she just like rocket shipped into her past life.
Ethical and like that's so you already. We have that bond already. So yeah, I just immediately was like, all right, let's do this.
She trusted me, and
I mean, I was a little nervous too, but I was like, I just gotta be open, and worst case, I can't go there, and we'll try again. And it was a very profound thing for me.
I'm happy to hear that.
Yes.
But to backtrack just a little, because I feel like I didn't really explain how I got here, and you gave us just this lovely story about crystals and seeing the dead boy when you were 4. I want to share a little bit.
Dead boy?
Yes, no. I feel like my greatest spiritual experiences when I was little was just with nature. It was in community with nature because I was an only child growing up. We lived 30 minutes outside of the city that I did all of my activities in and school and everything. And my parents were very typical boomer parents, and I'm definitely not putting shade on them. But there wasn't as much paying attention to what I was doing. They just kind of let me play, which is good, and sometimes a little lonely. And so that's why I'm saying no shade. But sometimes it would get lonely. So what I did was I made friends with the literal trees, nature, rocks, and found myself. And so I found myself doing meditations without even knowing I was doing meditations when I was really little. And it was something that I only realized when I came back to meditation as an adult. That I was like, oh, wow, I was a spiritual little cute little fairy.
Folk.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Wow.
As a kid. But that was all the way up until about age 11. And then we moved from that space and then things changed. But I went to Catholic school growing up all the way until 8th grade and then went into public school from there and then went to a Jesuit college from there. So Catholicism was a part of my life in some way, shape, or form. And there was a lot of it that I did like. I really liked the ritualistic piece of it because it had a discipline that you could follow and it was really easy.
And when that incense hits you.
Yeah, I liked the smells. Yeah, I liked how special it felt that, like midnight mass was something I liked to do because it was like, oh, we're up late and we're doing all these things and we're in a community and everyone's singing together. I love those pieces.
Very witchy, actually.
Yes, very. And then the altar, don't get me started on the altar. Yeah. I have my own altar, and to create one that wasn't inside of a church felt so bizarre to me when I first did that in 2019.
I was shaking.
Yeah, I was like, this feels wrong. It's supposed to be inside a church setting. Yeah. But anyway, the altar, the bread, like there's so many pieces to it. So I enjoyed that, but as I learned more about some very central dogmas that I know there's different kind of branches of Catholicism where people kind of will believe more in one thing or less in another. My mom even called herself a cafeteria Catholic, where she would imagine a buffet table. She would in a cafeteria just take the things that made sense to her and then leave what didn't resonate with her.
Catholic.
And it worked because it was the only religion that she grew up with and understood to have any kind of belief at all. And she wanted to have spiritual belief in something. So she kind of taught me that same way of being a cafeteria Catholic. Okay. So I would find by the time I hit 8th grade, after 8 years of being in Catholic school, which really was not too hardcore. Some people are like, I got whipped, and I didn't get whipped.
You had a good experience.
It was generally good. I made some good friends, but we definitely went to mass. It wasn't as often as some. But I remember in 8th grade when they started with the what's it called, the purity ring culture type thing. Where they made us pledge our virginity, and I'm in 8th grade, I barely know what sex is. It was just bizarre to me that I had to sign. They had to sign. Yeah, exactly. They had to sign an actual contract that said, "I pledge that I will not have sex until I'm married."
Was it the boys too, or just
everyone?
Girls?
I don't know. Oh, that's a good question. Ooh. I have no idea. I just remember the girls talking about it.
School?
We went to a co-ed school, but we did all of that stuff separately. So I actually have no idea. I would hope they equally did that.
Catholic boys, let us know.
Yeah, if any of you from my Catholic school around here, tell me, did you sign that? Because I didn't. I was in 8th grade. That's what I was you're not going to tell me what I'm going to do with my body. And I had not really learned a lot about what even like topics like abortion was and stuff like that, which of course there's definitely a side in Catholicism on that.
Yeah.
But I hadn't really learned much about that. I just barely learned how any of it functions. And I just remember being like, I'm not signing. And I'm like, I'm like 13, and it wasn't because I was like, I want to be, like that was not the purpose behind it. It was
felt
just
off because it was
simply weird. It was a weird thing. And then the last thing that made me realize like there is another religion for me out there was when I remember asking my 8th grade teacher, because I just learned about some of the unforgivable sins. And one of the unforgivable sins was that you cannot think or like guess or have a lack of faith in the idea that the Holy Spirit exists. And just even thinking it in your head is an unforgivable sin. Straight. Yeah.
So like the whole, I mean, I know the Holy Trinity is very like essential, but that's like
no. Like you can't like it. I asked very specifically because I remember asking the teacher like, so I can have this thought even if it's an accident, and it's an unforgivable sin. And she was like, correct. And I just like asked her 3 different ways because that seemed crazy because before I'd even started in counseling, psychology world and having that be an interest of mine, I recognized that would produce severe anxiety for someone because you have intrusive thoughts from the moment you are born. It's just a part of being a human. Intrusive thoughts happen, and whether they're a lot or little, that depends on if you have a diagnosis, right? Everyone has intrusive thoughts. So if you're told, don't think about the color blue, you're absolutely going to have that thought. Yeah. And don't look at my blue sweatshirt either.
Well,
so that
for a teacher to say that.
Yeah, she was like, yep. Like, yes, I am so pious and correct in this idea. Yes. So she was a nice teacher. But that idea, I could not get with that dogma. I could not get with that. I wonder
if she had a teaching license. That's what makes
things are pretty, after us having spent so much time in schools, a lot gets away with in private schools, but we'll just, that's another topic. But anyway, so that was when I realized, there's something else for me. And I was always drawn to East Asia, Buddhism, China, Japan, just their culture in general. And so I really liked the idea of Buddhism in general, but did not really learn anything about that. I kept trying, even at the school that I went to for college.
Wow.
They had a class that was supposed to be there, and then the teacher quit right before I took it. I'm not even kidding. So it's like, not yet, Kelsie. You don't get to learn about this.
Just a tad longer.
So I ended up learning the beginnings of what I knew from my husband when I met him, because he was so into Buddhism that he went and visited one of the Buddhist monasteries that are nearby.
And you guys have gone a couple times.
I've gone. Yeah. I went by myself and did my own little journey. But that's, another story for another time as well.
I don't know. Sounds cool.
It is fun. Yeah. I'll describe my my journey with Buddhism another time.
Yeah.
But the point being, I found those really inclusive religions to be the ones that I most resonated with. The idea in Buddhism that there is no really true one right answer to how the world works, and that all religions can have it right, but that you can reach enlightenment through simply just being with yourself and meditation in some way as kind of like core ideas resonated with me so much, because meditation was the only thing, as I had explained earlier, that I really knew how to do with spirituality at all, because I've been doing it since I was a kid without even knowing I was doing it in nature.
Wow.
So I took that. That's kind of the background of what brought me to 2019, when I had just had my second child, and I was having severe postpartum depression, had just moved away from my where I grew up. So I was
roots.
in it. Yeah, my roots. Yeah. Exactly. That's kind of the word I was looking for. I just moved away from my roots. I had a 1-year-old and a 3-year-old. And I was home by myself, and had paused when I had my second child with my career in counseling, because I really wanted to have that attachment style. with my daughter, because I wasn't unable to do that with my son because I had him when I was in grad school. That was a different experience entirely. So I wanted to be home during those really important years and do the best I could with that. And that was where probably the most depression I've ever experienced in my life was being a stay-at-home mom by myself. It is so isolating being a stay-at-home mom without the community, especially when you've moved.
And you have to create this new
and then COVID hit, and then there was no community. Because this was like late 2019, and then COVID hit March 2020. So that is when I started getting myself back into therapy, and started messing around with tarot. I just needed something that I could, at the time I had so much anxiety, I wanted to see into the future to try to prepare myself. And now I've come to see tarot as this complete self-assessment tool that anyone can access at any point. And I love tarot so much, but I love divination in general because it really is just a giant, all of it is a self-assessment tool in some way, shape or form, to be able to get a different, I don't know, it's like talking to a counselor almost without. You're talking to your higher self through it. So it's getting different perspectives too. And stuff you don't want to look at. When you get good at it, you get what's the term kids are saying these days about not called out, but there's a term. I don't know, I'll remember it later and add it in. I've said it to my kids. No. I said it to my son. And he was like, oh, yeah, I get that. It was a term. I'll remember it later.
All I know is the 6-7 one, right?
6-7. But now they're starting to say 1738 because they heard that was the original. Yeah.
It was.
And so now my 10-year-old.
Millennials are back. Yeah. Again.
Now my 10-year-old's 6-7, 1738. I'm oh my gosh. Anyway, Gen Alpha's great. I like Gen Alpha.
Yes. Well, and she's being very humble. She is the best mom ever. I mean,
gosh.
Every time I come to her house, it's so decorated in the most aesthetic, beautiful way for every holiday. She's always making very memorable, deep moments with the family. You have done an amazing job. So I hope you know that. She's an awesome mama, awesome therapist, and I mean, the day we met at the staff retreat, I immediately was she's the only normal one.
Yes, we met working at a school that went down in flames, but not because of us.
And the flames needed to happen.
Oh, yeah. It was a long time coming, and somehow our exits, I am positive, have a reason to do with why it needed to go.
Yeah. And but for the record, the building is still standing.
Physically,
the school as it exists, it
does
no
not
longer
exist
there,
anymore.
And that needed to happen. So we both met in 2021 at that school, and kind of always the week or two before school starts for kids and families, the staff meet up, and usually it's professional development, trainings, things like that.
At normal schools.
Yeah, at normal schools. At good quality schools. Healthy schools.
That's not what happened.
They tried to.
I remember walking in, and the first thing I saw was someone taking a shot of alcohol, and I was what? That is not any district I've ever
retreat for bonding and teen morale was
basically a charter school.
Yeah.
They can get away with stuff.
Yeah. And I had a little joint, and I was like, hey.
It was allowed. Yeah, everything was allowed.
We're in Washington, so
nothing was off limits.
I'm do you want to go, smoke? And she said yes.
I was like, thank God.
Yeah, and we went over weird. On a little, down this little path, and there was a lake there, and we just sat on the dock and smoked, and instantly started sharing.
And I brought my tarot cards.
Yeah.
And I just started reading, and something in me was like, I think someone wants a reading.
Yeah.
So I gave her one of my first readings ever.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure, didn't I?
Yeah.
It
was
I gave
pretty
one to
new.
My other friend too that I had met that day. But I remember giving at least 2, and I think I gave one to you.
Yeah, I think so. And I immediately was like, all right, this chick's cool. And I left right before winter break that school year and kind of moved on.
But that wasn't your first year, right? That was your second year?
Yeah, actually, because I had taken a long-term sub position to fill in for a teacher who left, wonder why.
Which happened all the time.
Yeah.
This place had a revolving door.
And you were there kind of like the next, like through that whole school year and then into the new school year a little, right?
Yeah, so I stayed all the way through that and then went all the way until literally January of 2023. And there was so many crazy things going on. I've never done this in my career and only did that once, but I quit in January. So that's considered halfway through the school year.
Yeah.
I couldn't do it. It was, contract?
Yeah,
they broke my contract first. So no, that was a giant, obvious, scam. I don't know how else to, it felt like a scam, but
didn't you see you had like a spiritual kind of stuff going on the last week or two also, because I remember you said the energy was so heavy you could like see
fog. Physical fog. There were so many things happening at once there. So basically we came from meeting in trauma, supported each other in trauma, and then left, found our own separate things, different jobs, different things, but then stayed together in our friendship, meeting up, talking spiritual things, and then together bonded over watching it fall, where we had just spent, we only knew each other for a few months when we first worked there together.
Yeah.
And then we just kept getting, without asking, without trying, without any kind of, physical effort, we got all the details about how it slowly crumbled over the next over the next 2 years, it just crumbled. So we would constantly be updating you, did you hear this? Did you hear this? And I think we kind of healed together through that.
Yes.
Through watching what needed to happen because those kids were not being served correctly.
And I think one thing too, back to best practices, being ethical, you and I served those kids. We got them what they needed. We tried to do what we could within a really, frankly, abusive and crazy school system at that location. So I'm proud of us for that too. And like you said, we've come out the other end of it, and just think of the youth, people.
Yes.
They're dealing with a lot right now.
Yes, they are. They are. Yeah. I feel like a lesson we both learned from that was we can sacrifice our own well-being for others to a point. And both of us reached our point at different times, but we still reached it.
Definitely.
Kind of wish I'd left when you did, but because there was stuff happening when you left for me too. But I wanted to see the best in the situation and protect the kids that were there.
And the abusers were somewhat held accountable. I think there will still be some justice down the road.
Yeah, I don't think it's quite
deserved,
over,
but I'm somewhat satisfied.
Good. Somewhat is better.
But we have, through the years, last year or two, really been able to keep our bond and friendship going. And it's just nice to have the spirituality stuff too, because it's really fun and interesting. And I really feel like the last year we've teetered back and forth with doing something like this. But, just life, and we both have our families and stuff, and so things get busy. But I feel like we're both really called right now, just because of our own experiences and reflecting back. I mean, we both have had a decade of that world, kind of stepping into a new chapter, but also the world. I feel like lately there's been a lot of spiritual psychosis, a lot of tension, a lot of restricting freedoms, and that kind of ties into people's, mental well-being, community, and spirituality as well. Because I know some of the things that have really bothered us, I just feel like it's so prominent now. It's really hard to ignore and not see.
Like in the spiritual world, the things that have bothered us?
Yeah, I feel like it ties into so much. Obviously, it's not everything wrong with our world right now, but I feel like it really ties in. I mean, there are priests who are joining protests right now and fighting for immigrants who are being detained. It all, in my opinion, ties together right now. I don't know what you think. What are your thoughts?
I'm the state. Do you mean what ties together is the state of the spiritual world and the state of the actual political world?
Thank you. That's a lot better way to say that.
Yes. The saying, as above, so below, as within, so without. Absolutely. Things reflect the same cycles in and out. No matter where you're looking, you're going to see similar repetitive patterns happening. And I feel like, one, we're wanting to address in this series with our channel is just prioritizing spirituality with critical thinking, and trying to give people, no matter where you are in your spiritual journey, I don't know, thoughts, advice, tips, book recommendations, receipts about the things we're talking about. We don't want to just give you, what's it called? Like a spiritual belief or idea.
Like a lecture.
Yeah. Based off of what? Like some leader who says they know everything said. Like, we want there to be multiple places that, like, this topic or idea has been referenced inside of religions, cultures, whatever, history books, you know, psychology books. We want this to be a well-rounded learning environment for you. And I think that's really important when you're trying to learn about things that might expand your idea of what reality is. That's a scary thing to do. So a huge part of what we want to do is help you learn in a very safe environment, one where you can ask questions and you're not going to be made fun of because you don't understand what a past life is or something like that. And also one where you can do advanced learning if these are things that you've already found a good homeostasis inside of your brain and heart with. You know, you've decided this is something I believe in, but now I want to talk a little bit more advanced. We're also going to have those kinds of discussions as well because we're doing our own advanced learning on some of these topics.
For sure. And I feel like true learning has to be that way. It's reciprocal. We have learned just as much from our clients and students as they learn from us. And I think sometimes that's where religions kind of miss the mark, is it's very much you are listening to this one person talk this one book.
And you take it as fact.
Yeah.
Not a lot of encouragement of critical thinking.
Yeah. And I feel like it's very normal and healthy to ask questions and for clarity, and to, like Christianity here in Washington State is going to be different than in Florida versus in like Italy. It's going to be different no matter where you go, and who we are as humans impacts the way we think about that. And I think a healthy learning space, you can't limit people, and critical thinking skills is all about, let's analyze this. Let's go through this together. Or if you're just doing it on your own, some people prefer to do their practice as an individual instead of in a group. I have stuff, my spell baths. I don't want anyone there.
You sure?
Yeah. Maybe my man.
I'll just stand above you and sprinkle stuff. So mote it be.
But some people, they want to do it one-on-one. They want to do it in a group. But having the skills and any resources, I think we're going to have just a lot of stuff like, hey, go check this out. What do you think? This was my takeaway. This was her takeaway kind of thing. And that's more in line with true learning and spirituality. Obviously, there's religious spaces that are like that too. But I feel like when you look at it big picture, it's not typically like that.
Nope. So yeah, that's a big, goal, emphasis that we want to let you know what you can expect from us. I really want to, I kind of touched on it briefly, but I really also want to go deeper into the spirituality, psychology connection, just showing you how there are themes in spirituality and just like the basic sense of the term, and themes in psychology that mirror or are almost the exact same replica of each other. They show up all the time. And to understand, I really truly believe to understand yourself in a psychology sense will easily flow into understanding yourself spiritually and vice versa. If you do a lot of practice in your spiritual world, you're going to have a lot of ability to understand psychology at its core for both yourself and for others, and vice versa. I came in from the psychology realm, learning about spirituality, but I had so much knowledge that just easily transmitted into my understanding of the spiritual world. I truly think like a huge piece of just spirituality is like getting to know and accept yourself and others equally. Like, and that comes from a lot of learning and a lot of self-growth and a lot of what you would call shadow work and spirituality.
Yes.
And in counseling, it's just, doing counseling and looking at yourself with a critical eye and being able to forgive yourself, love yourself, and recognize patterns that aren't healthy for you and others. And we just all have them. It's just all a part of who we are. And dealing with those feelings and emotions, you feel them whether you're in the spiritual realm or you're in the psychology realm. So I really want to bring the topics as we're going through them, bring in the psychology reason for why we think the way we do and why that, melds into whatever topic that we're talking about.
Yeah, I'm so excited to learn more about this.
It's all just going to keep circling itself.
Yes.
Like there's just always... so many parallels and metaphors and things that just kind of, they work together.
That kind of resonates
they marry.
for me. Like after, I still see my therapist every now and then.
Mm-hmm.
But like after I finished 5 years of EMDR, I really felt like I know what my values are. I know what's important you have to dissect every experience you want to talk about. So I feel like I might have experienced that a little and just kind of realized that.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Let's have some revelations while we're filming. Love it.
The therapist you are, you're already making me realize
draw
something.
It out. Come here. Now let's talk about your childhood. I'm just kidding.
That's okay.
Yeah. Well, let's see. What else do we want to let them know before we kind of finish this up of what to expect from our channel?
I think, it's kind of cliche these days, but we do want to make it clear we are a safe space. We have worked with all kinds of communities. We ourselves are part of some of those communities. Sometimes we aren't. This is a place where you can safely explore and discuss things, learn. Not everything's going to resonate though. Like there's, for example, just, top of my mind, there's some people who get nothing from Reiki and they're like, nope, I didn't feel anything, didn't see anything. I'm like, well, that's okay. Like I'm still sending you good love and vibes and getting your Reiki flow going. But that's okay. Not everything is going to resonate for everybody.
Yes. And there's some people that are terrified of tarot, and the idea of looking into the future feels so taboo, either from your roots, whether it be cultural or spiritual roots. I understand, and that's okay. You don't have to. You have to like everything we're talking about. And if you have questions, we are happy to take any of them, even if they feel like you're not agreeing with us. Like we can handle disagreement. We can handle discourse. And we're going to treat you with the respect that you deserve. And we hope that you do the same for us.
Yes. And I think a lot of people, they see that devil card and they're like,
oh yeah, the devil's immediate scary.
It's not the actual devil.
No. Or the death card. The death card scares the poop out of everybody. And the tower card, especially if you're using the traditional Rider-Waite tarot deck, where there's literally people coming down like looking a little 9/11 reminiscent. A little scary. But no, if it's something that there's interest in and we want to hear from you, please comment and tell us what you're interested in hearing about. But if there is interest, I will absolutely go through and explain what tarot is. I can do a whole series on that as well, card by card, if that's something that people want to learn through me. I'm happy to do so.
Sign me up.
Yes. And then astrology is something I haven't really talked a whole lot about, but that's something.
Oh my gosh. No, you need to say something maybe really quick, because that's
yes, astrology is
your thing.
I have studied astrology as long as I've studied tarot, so since 2019, so we're going on 6 years, moving towards 7. And I've found the interconnection, just like between psychology and spirituality. There's a similar interconnection between divination and tarot, specifically with astrology. They just, there's just so many things.
What's the app on your phone? You paid for it, but you have so many people's charts saved.
Yes,
and it
I do.
helps you a lot.
I can't look because we're using my phone to record, so I can't remember.
We'll add it later.
Oh yeah, I'll put it in the comment section what I use, because you can also get. I know you can get a free if you just want to look this up now before our next video. You can go to astro-seek.com and get a free birth chart reading, and it's like a general, and you can see it's the best one that I've found because it's going to give you the actual physical chart and showing the interconnections and the aspects of it. Some of them that exist that you have to pay for, they don't even show what house you're looking at. They'll just show the sign, or they'll just show the house number. And like in the actual picture chart. And it's just like, what are we doing? Why aren't we giving all the information? I'm not sure why that is.
We're paying for this?
Yeah, I don't see the point.
But that's something we're going to do a lot too with this is, we're going to talk about give you the receipts, give you book recommendations, the scientific studies,
and what's worked for us. And mostly, we're both thrifters. We want to give it to you for free.
Yeah.
So we want to tell you the free versions of things that we found that work, or the cheapest versions that we found.
And those are often the most sustainable too, which I think is important to people's practice and should be, if we're going to worship the earth, we need to take care of her too.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I love that.
Yes, sister.
Yes. Well said. Yes. But it's all going to be very accessible stuff. We want this to be chill and for people to learn. We want to value your own gut and decision maker and form your own opinions.
Yeah. You are the I don't know, I'm thinking of the Emperor card in tarot, but you are the decision maker. You are the power. You are the one person that's leading this.
Exactly.
We are not telling you what to think, believe. Yeah. I'm assuming that's
that.
where you're going with that.
Yes. No, right on the nail there. And there's some things we might not be experts on.
Yes.
We're going to have a lot of cool people join us.
Oh yeah, we're doing that too.
Yes.
We already have made a lot of friends in the community from our years of doing different community events and meeting a lot of really cool people. So we're going to have a lot of guests that are going to talk specifically about what they're really good at.
I'm so excited for that.
Yes.
I'm just wait just a little longer, guys.
Yes.
We're almost
Hold
there.
on. We have to.
Yes.
We have to start the channel. We're really good at. You might be able to tell through the screen. We're really good at meeting people and community building. It's just the learning. The nitty gritty learning of how to put our voice actually on the internet. Record, editing, all those things. Something that we're learning at. So if you have any tips on that as well, please tell us.
Yeah, we'll take anything.
Are you an editor? Please leave your comment ideas below. Do we need better lighting? Tell us. Help us out.
And it's everyone that we are thinking about having on, they're all just genuinely good people. They know their stuff. They care about community and being ethical and doing things out of love and the heart too. So it'll be awesome to see kind of how that transforms, and we'll learn, and then you guys will learn too. So we're excited for that.
And please know that all of what you will be getting from us, just like you said, this is coming from their heart. It comes straight from our heart to you.
Yes.
We are genuine in our want to help others. We obviously just exited 10-year careers where all we did was that, but we want to do it in a way that lights us up instead of, sucks us dry. And that's kind of what happened after a certain point.
Yeah.
And it's okay to recognize that there's a more balanced way to help people for us. And we found that this would be the most balanced way, with us both having experience with a lot of public speaking and things like that. Just naturally felt like the right next move. So we hope that you have fun with us. and participate with us. This is really important to us that we hear from you as well.
Yeah.
And what you want to hear.
And we're thinking about too, maybe at the end of our time with you, giving you not necessarily homework, but just an invitation to try something out. So from Kelsie, it might be a breathing and grounding exercise. For me, it might be where's your ancestry at? What religions do they have? We're always going to kind of tie it into something we're
I'm
interested.
queen of journal prompts too, and so are you. So you'll get some journal prompts, some writing activities.
So one we were maybe thinking about was taking a moment and just kind of writing down any questions you have about your current spiritual practices, or if you're more on the religious side, religious practices, what have you been curious about? What questions have you wanted to ask? Who's kind of been at the forefront of how you've learned this? Has it been through your own work? Has it been through, a priest, a shaman? Everyone's experience is different. If you had been born on a completely different side of the world, do you think you would still believe that? Or just kind of writing down your curiosities, and we're going to do them too, and kind of reflect on those, but just maybe journal for 5 or 10 minutes and or even make a list or draw, whatever works for you. And just take some time to reflect on that. Comment below, add it. If you feel comfortable, we would love to hear. Because that's how we're going to make this awesome community. It's reciprocal. It's all of us. And we'll let you guys know too next time kind of what we wrote down and reflect on that and share.
Yes. And if you're on Spotify or whatever streaming service we're putting for a podcast, go check out our YouTube channel in order to communicate with us, because we can't do it through those streaming. If you're just hearing us and you're not seeing us right now, go to our YouTube channel. Oh my God, what's our YouTube? What's our name? Modern
Mystics.
We just named ourselves today. Modern Mystics.
Yeah.
And if you are watching on YouTube and you just discovered us, thank you so much for sticking with us, for hanging out with us.
For a whole hour.
Or however much we end up editing this. Maybe less, I don't know. But we ask that you please subscribe, comment, and share our video with anybody.
Yeah.
Anybody in your life that you think maybe they'd want to be a part of this community, or maybe they might want to hear about this topic, or I just think that that might help them in their life, because our goal is to help you and as many people as we can.
Yes.
So please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. It's really important to help us grow our channel in order to find more people just like you. So please help us out.
All right, you guys, have an awesome rest of your day, and we will see you next time.
Okay, take care. We'll see you next week.